It was a gorgeous summer day, and traffic was heavy on the freeway. I was driving our minivan. I was pretty stressed. My husband and I had just returned from out of state the night before with his mom, dad, and their 3 dogs. His dad had a stroke the week before, and they were going to stay with us while he recovered. It ended up being a whole year. I should probably tell you we had 6 children living at home between the ages of 17 through 5, and a dog of our own at the time. Life had thrown us all a curve, but we were handling things as they came along. We have always taught our children that family is important. I had to pick up my paycheck so I could go food shopping before going to work at 3 p.m. I was on a tight but doable schedule. God had a different plan and a wonderful sense of humor. A car was in the median strip on the left with a flat tire, and a group of Boy Scouts was sitting on the grass. I had been going with the flow of traffic in the high-speed lane when the car in front of me slowed to go into the grassy median to help them. As I put my foot on the brake to slow down, I looked in my rearview mirror and saw the grill of a semi. Not the semi, the grill of the semi. It was literally my worst nightmare. I was horrified and panicked. I remember saying out loud, "I cannot believe I'm going to die today." It was about 3 seconds from the time I saw him until I was hit, but those 3 seconds changed my life and me completely. Immediately, time stopped. It became eternal. I was alert, oriented, and still driving throughout the entire process. I was in my body, but was taken out of Earth's time frame. There was no sound. All was quiet and calm. I spoke out loud throughout the entire conversation, while his replies were in the form of thoughts placed in my head. With time stopping, came a huge feeling of the enormous love that just kept growing stronger and stronger came. The panic was replaced with love that gave me such a calm feeling, and I was no longer afraid. I was being hugged big time. I had never felt love like this before. Instinctively, I knew this was God. Think of someone who loves you dearly. Now multiply that feeling by about 1,000,000, and maybe you will come close to how loved I felt. I could feel that there were also 2 others with me. I can't explain how I know this, but one was my grandmother. It took 7 years to figure out who the other was. I didn't know who it was at the time, and I will share how I found out later in this story. I wanted to cry, but there was no time. Most of us go through our lives being taught to believe in God. I was brought up in a very strict Catholic household by parents who did not live by what they demanded from us. Okay, I did believe, but I was very angry with him because of my abusive childhood and life in general. Now I had been given proof enough for me that there is a God. The next words out of my mouth were, "Oh shit, I screwed this up. There is a God." I was mortified at my language and this knowledge. I quickly said, "Oh, sorry." His reply to me was even greater love and a feeling of, "My child, calm down. Everything is just fine." I felt like his child, and it was a very safe and warm place. He has very loving and gentle hands. With that, placed in front of me to see and feel was a review of my life, in color. I had to see and feel all the good I had done, and the good I didn't even know I did. I actually could feel the joy each person felt when I lovingly touched their life. I was getting caught, doing something right for once in my life. During the good, he was telling me, "I am so proud of you." I felt such joy for making him so proud because I never realized what that felt like, because I always felt like I couldn't do anything right. Reviewing my random acts of kindness gave me the most joy because I was able to feel the difference I made in someone's life that I hadn't realized at the time, and I didn't even know them. Little acts of kindness mean so much to God. Also, I had to see and feel all the hurtful things I had done, even the hurtful things I didn't know I did. I had to feel the person's hurt I caused. But you know how they say in prayers that we will stand before God and be judged one day? God was not judging me. I was looking at my actions with God at my side, loving me while I was judging myself, and believe me, no one can judge me any harsher than I already judge myself. It was like getting caught by my parents when doing something wrong. During the hurtful review, I was so ashamed, and there was no hiding it. He was asking me, what different choices could you have made? What are you learning from this? Not yelling at me and saying, "How could you do that?" or "You're going to hell." This was not the punishing God I had been taught to believe in. The hardest part of this was realizing he had already forgiven me. I was having a hard time forgiving myself. He showed me how I couldn't let his love in without first forgiving myself. Punishing myself didn't make me better in his eyes. Accepting his love was what he wanted from me. Once I was able to accept that God only loved me, it was easier for me to openly and honestly look at my life. I wanted to learn as much as I could. I had so many questions. God loves me the way I love my children. Even when they do something wrong, I still love them. I'm not happy with their actions, but that doesn't change my love for them. I hurt them, and I make them take responsibility for their actions. I had taken parenting classes and read all I could find so I wouldn't make the same mistakes my parents did raising kids. He showed me that even though I wasn't physically abusing my kids, I was killing them with my words. That is just bad. I could feel their pain. I felt like such a failure. I just kept repeating, "I'm so sorry," over and over again. He just kept on loving me. When the life review was over, he placed in front of me why I came to Earth. I was so amazed. I was floored at how important we all are to God, especially how important I was to God. I didn't think he knew I even existed. All the years I was beating myself up, and his question to me was, why would I go through all the trouble to make you just the way you are, if I wanted you to try and be like someone else? No one else could do the job I came here to do, the way he wanted me to do it. That is why it is so important that we not be so judgmental of each other. Some of us are here to teach, some to learn, and some to do both. He let me ask him questions. My first one was, how could he give me the parents I had? I was shown why I had the parents, childhood, and life I had. I asked for it. It was so clear to me that I had to go through it all to learn what I needed to learn and be able to continue my work here. I was making a lot of wrong choices because I wasn't listening to or trusting myself. I was doing what I thought I was supposed to be doing. I felt like a little mouse in a maze trying to find my way, but I wasn't getting anywhere. I understood that Earth is school, and when we are done, we take a final exam, the life review, and then we get to graduate and go back home. Everything made so much sense. The lesson was so simple. It's all about love. How much God loves us and how well we love ourselves and others. Finally, he showed me what I still had left to do. I remember saying so matter-of-factly, "I can do that." I wanted to do it. I believe I was shown this to help me decide, because the next thing in front of me was, do you want to stay or go? Wow, I get a choice? Even though my good far outweighed my bad. I desperately needed to fix the hurtful things if I had a chance to. I didn't want to leave so many things undone before I had to leave. I also wanted to live on this earth knowing God loved me. I replied almost in a whisper and very, very reluctantly, but I have to stay. My only regret is that I said that statement so fast, because the second I said that, the whole movie in front of me closed up, and my conversation with God was over. 1 second I was having a wonderful visit with God, my grandmother, and a friend from the other side. I could even picture us having a cup of coffee together during this conversation. Only my hands were gripped tightly on the steering wheel of the van. I was still driving, and I was thinking, I cannot believe this is happening to me. I couldn't believe how much I had learned in 3 seconds. I had so many unanswered questions. I wanted more time. I wanted more love. I didn't want this to end. I couldn't believe all the things my brain could do at one time. I was disappointed that I didn't get to see the light because I could feel the edges all around me, but I had made my choice. Suddenly, it was over. I was forced back into the reality of Earth's time. Everything but his love, my grandmother, and my friend was gone. Gee whiz. In my head, I was told, take your foot off the brake and floor the gas. I didn't ask any questions and just did as I was told. As I hit the car in front of me, the semi hit me. I clipped the car and sent it safely into the median. The truck did not jackknife. I drove about 100 feet more and went into the median and stopped because I wasn't sure what was going to happen and didn't want to be in the middle of it. The thing I want to stress here is that if I had said I wanted to go, I would have been gone before the accident even happened. My family would have thought I died a horrible death, being run over by a semi. The reality was that my body would have died a horrible death, not me. At the point of impact, I was still being hugged safely in my cocoon of God's love. I did not feel the accident at all. It was a different story a few hours later. I refused to go to the hospital because I felt fine. Never make that stupid decision. It is always a good idea to be checked out after an accident. I sat in my van with the whole back blown out of it and kept hugging myself because I didn't want to lose the feeling of tremendous love I had been given by God, because it was still with me. I was also afraid to look back and see what had happened. Being a nurse, I felt it was my duty to help the injured, but I just couldn't handle one more thing. I have no idea how long it took for the police to get there, but when the policeman opened the door of my van, I was still trying to breathe, and I burst into tears. The cocoon of love evaporated when he opened the door. It took him a while to figure out I was physically unhurt. The feeling of God's love was just a memory now, and emotionally, I fell apart. His comment was, "I don't know how you did it, but you saved a lot of lives today because no one is hurt." I couldn't tell him what happened. It was hard for me to believe it myself. For once in my life, I was speechless, and that doesn't happen very often to me. Just ask anyone who knows me. Hours after the accident, I started to hurt all over my body and I couldn't move my neck. My husband took me to the emergency room that night. The doctor was surprised that I only had whiplash. The staff was marveling at why I was still here. I knew exactly why I was still here. I chose it. I didn't say one word to anybody, not even my husband, because I knew if I told them what had happened to me, they would admit me to the psychiatric floor. I didn't think anyone would believe me. Also, I said earlier that I was clearly shown my purpose here on Earth and the work I had left to do during my life review. When the accident was over, I couldn't remember why I chose to come here or what I had left to do. It's still right on the tip of my tongue. The knowledge was taken away as soon as I said, "I have to stay." So I am back to a little mouse in a maze with everybody else trying to find my way. When things get tough, I remember what I said that day. I can do that. It keeps me grounded and moving forward. I know for a fact that God is watching me, and I love to make him proud. I keep a first-grade picture of myself at my bedside to remind me every morning that I am a child of God. When I am faced with a difficult situation, I stop for a second to decide what I am going to do because I do not want to review it in a hurtful way again. I'm not perfect, but I try hard to do the right thing. As a postscript, you need to know that my husband totaled my car 7 days before this accident with me in the car. We both walked away from that accident unhurt. There was no near-death experience for either one of us that day. I was still pretty upset with him about losing the car. It was my first car, the one I picked out, and the registration had my name on it. I loved that car. Talk about screwed up priorities. If he had not totaled my car, instead of driving a van, I would have been driving a Mazda 323. This is just more proof of why I believe everything happens for a reason. There would have been no choices that day. That semi would have gone right over the top of me. Before the accident, I had a hard time praying. Now I talk to him the same way I carry on a conversation with anybody else, anytime and anywhere. In fact, after the first accident, a week before the truck accident, I walked out to the middle of my front yard. I screamed at the sky. I know they say that God doesn't give us anything more than we can handle, but you are blowing it big time right now. So just come down here and tell me what you want me to do, and I will do it so you can leave me the hell alone. My poor husband took me by the arm, saying, "Come inside, the neighbors are watching." I had no idea he was listening to me. So be careful what you ask for, because I found out, very unexpectedly, just how much he cared about me. I don't need to scream at him anymore. I understand what he was trying to tell me now. I received his answer loud and clear. The whole year after my accident was probably one of the hardest years of my life, and I often wondered why I was stupid enough to stay here and not leave when I had the chance. I kept yelling at myself, "What the heck were you thinking?" Now, looking back at what I learned and how blessed I am today, I am so glad I stayed. When I see the rays of the sun stream through the clouds, the Holy Spirit, I sometimes get homesick. To me, God is the light. That is Him reminding me to remember how much He loves me, and I am never alone. And one day I'll get to go back to Him forever. Until then, I plan on having a good time. I look at every obstacle as an adventure now, and I'm always looking for the lesson. It's a wonderful game. Life is so much easier this way. Probably the toughest thing for me after my NDE and working with the dying is that I am a church orphan. It is so difficult for me to sit still during the Mass and not stand up and scream, "No, you guys, he's lying. This isn't how it works." I have tried quite a few different religious services, but I haven't found one that feels like home. I feel like I go to church 12 hours a day, 2 days a week, at work. I would love to find a church where other people understand what I understand. About my friend from the other side. 2 days after the accident, with my cervical collar on and a very sore body, I went to church. I had some serious thinking to do. Before Mass, a lady I know came up to me and asked me about my accident. One of her questions to me was, "Who was with you?" I replied timidly, "God and my grandmother." She smiled and asked, "Who else?" I was very reluctant to tell her, but I told her about my mystery friend from the other side anyway. She didn't think I was nuts and told me I could find out their name by asking. I was very skeptical, but I felt much better after talking with her. After Mass, another lady I didn't know came up to me and asked me about the accident. We had almost the same conversation. I was not the only one this had happened to. We were connected by a shared experience, a near-death experience. They knew what I knew. They both had the names of the people with them. Well, I asked daily for a while and finally gave up trying to get the name of this person who is still with me. 7 years later, I was watching a TV program that was about near-death experiences and our spirit guides from the other side. They explained a different way of asking for a name. That night before I went to bed, I asked out loud to be given their name in a dream, and please help me remember it in the morning. My brain woke up first before my eyes opened, and I had a name in my head just like the conversation I had with God during my life review. I was given the name Amy. What I knew was that this was real, and that when I tried to argue with it, it just kept getting louder and more insistent in my head. Most of my family and friends all have names now. Some have more than one, and a few were given the names by just asking, like I was told to do 7 years before. The more I am open to the possibility of help from the other side, the more help I am given. I stopped trying to explain everything away. I talk to Amy all the time. If you are not sure you have someone with you, let me explain it this way. When I am having a problem with something, I go to sleep and dream about it. And when I wake up in the morning, I have an answer to my problem. That is Amy helping me. There are a lot of times that I don't even have to go to sleep to get an answer now. Her help has been and still is priceless to me. I look forward to seeing her again one day. That does it for today's video. What did you guys think about today's experience? Do you think asking for your spirit guide's name would get you their name? Do you think the 2 old ladies that she spoke to during church were sent by God to help her get those names? Let me know what you think in the comments section below. Until the next video, be blessed.